Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've got a fascinating challenge, actually. Instead of, wading through loads of complex research, we're drilling down,
Right.
way down, into a single, really simple piece of advice.
Yeah, it's a great example of how sometimes the most distilled knowledge can be the most potent.
So the source we're looking at today is an excerpt from a YouTube video. It was uploaded by Gaia Carmel.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unusual source for us, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but the clarity, the sheer power in just this one sentence,
Right.
it proves deep insight doesn't always need like a 300-page book.
Absolutely not.
We're looking at the core principle here.
Yeah.
And the idea is it's designed to hopefully immediately free you from a huge psychological weight.
And our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. Take this very, very concise statement and just unpack everything. Pull out all the implications. We want to figure out why this specific little nugget of knowledge feels so freeing.
And how it translates into actual advice for you, the learner.
Exactly. Think of it as the ultimate shortcut to maybe some mental clarity.
Okay, so let's get straight to the source material then. The video title itself, it's basically the whole thesis. Beautifully direct. It's "Can't let kid," which translates pretty much directly to "people will always talk, do it anyway."
That's it.
That's the whole ball game right there, isn't it?
It really is. But the specific piece, the nugget we're really focusing on, the part that underpins it all, it's the diagnosis. And the translation is simply, the thing is that people will always talk about you.
Okay.
Let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because, this isn't just some vague motivational slogan.
No.
This is presenting a cold, hard, an unavoidable fact about how humans behave socially.
It's the constant in the life equation.
Yeah.
And that universality, that's exactly where the power is. It's not framed as a threat or even a warning.
Right.
It's more like a sociological constant, like a law of physics almost.
Yeah.
It's not saying if you mess up, people will talk.
No, it's saying just by existing, by, having a presence, making any choice, you become a potential topic.
And what's really crucial here, I think, is the weight carried by that single word, always.
Tamid in the Hebrew.
Tamid, yes. It's absolute. It's not sometimes or if you do something controversial. It's always.
We'll often act as if we can somehow negotiate that, right?
Yeah, like we can find this sweet spot of perfect social approval. Or maybe just like total invisibility.
Right. We spend so much energy managing our image, trying to guess every possible negative reaction, trying to engineer this environment where everyone likes us or, at least leaves us alone.
But once you really internalize that tamid, that the talking happens anyway, you realize that negotiation is futile. It's like trying to silence the wind.
Exactly. And the psychological relief from accepting that, it can be huge.
Because the fear of being talked about, often that's a bigger barrier than the actual practical consequences of failing at something.
Oh, absolutely. That fear of judgment, it triggers what psychologists might call social risk aversion. We're kind of wired evolutionarily to want to stay safe within the group, the tribe.
Right.
So doing something publicly wrong or launching a weird project or even just stating a strong opinion that might be unpopular, it feels inherently dangerous. It feels like it threatens our standing.
But if we accept this diagnosis, accept that the scrutiny is coming no matter what, whether you launch the big risky thing or just, stay home and do nothing.
Then that fear, it kind of loses its veto power, doesn't it?
Yeah, it loses its operational authority over your decisions. You've basically been psychologically inoculated against that main deterrent.
And it creates this logical sequence, a syllogism almost.
Okay.
Premise 1, people will always talk about me. Premise 2, I am considering taking action X. Conclusion, whether people talk about me cannot be a deciding factor for action X because they'll talk anyway.
So it shifts the entire focus away from managing what other people might think and puts it squarely back onto your own intention, what you want to achieve.
Precisely.
Okay, but hang on. Let me just push back slightly here. If we say people will always talk, isn't there a danger of just dismissing all feedback? Like ignoring genuine accountability?
That's a really important distinction to make, yeah.
Surely there are times when we should listen to criticism and, just what we're doing. Or is this advice purely about the background noise, the gossip?
I think it's primarily about distinguishing the signal from the noise. This insight isn't a license to ignore, say, valid, constructive feedback from people you trust, like mentors or close colleagues who genuinely care about your success.
Okay.
It's about deprioritizing the generic, unavoidable commentary, the background chatter, the noise from people who maybe don't have any real stake in what you're doing, or maybe judge out of habit or even jealousy.
Right.
Those people are discussing you whether you knock it out of the park or fall flat on your face. That chatter is static. It's constant.
So the wisdom here is in learning to differentiate.
Exactly. It helps you differentiate between the signal, the useful feedback, and the static, the inevitable chatter. If you accept the timid, the always, you stop wasting energy trying to turn down the volume on the static. And instead, you can focus your listening, your attention on the actual signal when it comes.
Okay, that clarifies it. That makes sense. So here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Because once you accept that diagnosis, the talking is inevitable, it logically forces you towards the prescription. The advice implied in the title, do it anyway.
Yes, that's the logical imperative kicking in. We need to start thinking about judgment or being talked about as the fixed cost, not a variable one.
Explain that a bit more. Fixed cost.
Well, most people calculate the cost of, say, launching a risky project as potential failure plus the massive public embarrassment, the judgment.
Right, that's how it feels.
But this piece of wisdom reframes it. It says the embarrassment part, the being talked about part. You've already paid that price. It's like an entrance fee for just existing, for participating in life.
Okay, I like that framing. A fixed cost, like you paid the admission just by showing up. On the planet, in the office, online, wherever.
Exactly.
So now that cost is sunk. It's already paid.
Yeah.
Why let that fixed cost dictate the quality of your experience inside?
It shouldn't. It mandates this kind of radical self-determination. The value of your action, your new learning project, your career change, whatever, it has to be judged internally.
Yeah.
Based on whether it serves your goals.
Not based on the perceived social risk.
Because the social risk, in terms of being talked about, is constant. It's already factored in. The outside world becomes almost irrelevant to that specific part of the risk calculation.
Let's stick with that analogy you used, the amusement park.
Okay.
You pay your money at the gate. That's the fixed cost.
Yeah.
You're in. Now you have access to all the rides.
Right.
If you then spend the whole day just standing by the entrance, maybe watching the big roller coasters, worrying if someone will laugh if you scream on the tilt-a-whirl, you've still paid the full price. The cost for being timid and bored is exactly the same as the cost for writing everything and having the time of your life.
Precisely. So why choose the safe, maybe smaller, less fulfilling option and still get talked about because you will be?
Right. The cost is the same.
When you could take the big swing, learn that difficult new skill, aim for something really meaningful, and still only pay that same fixed social cost, it fundamentally equalizes the perceived risk between bold action and cautious inaction.
This insight feels particularly potent when we connect it directly to you, the learner. Think about how often good ideas or learning attempts just die because of analysis paralysis.
Oh, constantly. And analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's often just social risk aversion dressed up in spreadsheets and pro-con lists.
Ah, good point.
People delay launching the startup or switching careers or even just starting a challenging online course. Not necessarily because they lack the skill, but because they're terrified of the social fallout if it doesn't go perfectly.
They're trying to predict and mitigate the judgment.
Exactly. They're modeling outcomes based on anticipated social commentary.
But if we truly accept that people will talk, always, all that energy spent trying to model imaginary future judgment,
it's freed up.
Yeah, it could be entirely redirected.
Yeah.
Suddenly, maybe 100% of your focus can go back to the actual task, the project itself, the learning curve, the mission.
It becomes this incredible efficiency tool just by removing a variable that wasn't really variable in the first place.
Think about someone wanting to make a big career pivot, maybe into a totally new field.
Okay.
They might spend months, maybe years, agonizing over what their old colleagues will think or say. Did they fail? Why are they starting over at their age?
All that internal chatter based on external guesswork.
Right. But this wisdom just cuts through it. They're going to talk about you anyway.
Yeah.
So focus on the coursework. Focus on building the new skills, the new portfolio. Focus on the outcome you want, because the cost of the conversation, it's already covered.
It really does provide that permission slip we often feel we need, doesn't it?
It does. And the elegance of this single source, it's that it gives you both things at once. It identifies the main psychological hurdle in modern life, this overwhelming fear of public opinion, and it hands you the solution Just acknowledging the constant nature of that opinion all in the same breath. It's just total clarity.
It really cuts through the fog.
Right.
And that clarity, that's what makes this simple phrase such a powerful piece of knowledge. It doesn't require complicated techniques or, long manifestos.
Right.
It just shifts your whole frame of reference permanently if you let it. It recognizes that in this world obsessed with social media, public perception, instant validation, maybe real emotional resilience starts by just accepting that being discussed is, inevitable.
So what does this all mean? Where does this leave us? Well, our deep dive into this incredibly short source has given us one core, really undeniable truth. And maybe it should underpin every major decision you make. Accepting the inevitability of social commentary is the ultimate freeing insight. The talking itself isn't the core problem. Thinking you can somehow stop it, that's the problem. It's a fixed cost. Pay it and move on.
And once you truly accept that fixed cost, the whole decision matrix shifts, doesn't it?
How so?
It stops being about avoiding discussion. It becomes about accepting the discussion is happening and then intentionally choosing the quality of that discussion. So if you know deep down that people will talk about you always, then the question transforms. It's no longer the passive, worried, will they talk about me?
Right.
It becomes a much more powerful, active question. Okay, since they're going to talk, what do I want them to have to talk about?
Go give them something interesting, something worthwhile, something memorable to discuss.
Exactly. Make the inevitable conversation one worth having.
That's a great place to leave it. Thanks for diving in with us.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.